Have you ever felt that your emotions were too much? That your happiness was too loud, your sadness too deep, your anger too bright? What if I told you that this sensitivity wasn't a weakness, but the echo of a forgotten magic? There is a legend whispered on the cosmic winds of a lineage of beings who were so in tune with the universe that their feelings could shape reality. They were called the Sensari, and their power was a true gift of the Magi. They ran with the wolves, danced with the stars, and saw the world not with their eyes but with their souls. But their power, born of pure emotion, became feared by those who sought only control. One by one, the Sensari vanished into legend. All but one. Mordov. Ooh, you are shining. Such a brilliant little light. You're coming with me. He named her Tessa. And in the gilded cage of his crystal palace, he became her guardian, her teacher, her entire world. He told her she was special, but that her specialty was a danger. He warned her that the world outside was filled with monsters that would prey on a heart as open as hers. To help in his deception, he assigned his most trusted aide, Fiona, to be her caretaker. Tessa, Fiona, are there really monsters out there? Is that why Master Mordov keeps me here? Fiona, Master Mordov is the strongest wizard in the known realms, little one. He keeps a watchful eye for a reason. He is not just your guardian. He is the keeper of the Sensari legacy. It is his sworn duty to protect you, to train you, and one day send you back to your people. But you are not ready. Your feelings. They are too wild. They raised her in the most controlled environment imaginable. But Tessa's magic, the very core of her being, could not be entirely contained. Her emotions were intrinsically linked to the world around her. Slowly, a deep-seated fear began to replace her childlike wonder. The lessons were constant, a daily chipping away at her spirit. Mordov, you are far too sensitive, Tessa. There is no place for someone with such volatile feelings in the world. You must stay in control, always. And so she learned. She learned to swallow her happiness before it could bubble over. She learned to choke back her sadness until it became a dull ache in her chest. She learned to smother the sparks of her anger before they could ever catch fire. Tessa grew into a poised and obedient young woman, a perfect princess for a palace of glass. She never spoke of the sun or the moon, never asked about the stars she could only see through her window. But deep inside, a quiet impatience was beginning to bloom. Tessa, Master Mordov, I've been thinking. I still don't truly understand why the palace reacts to my feelings. Mordov, if you still harbor such doubts after all these years, Tessa, then perhaps I am not the great keeper I thought I was. Perhaps I have failed you. Mordov, if you must have us repeat the lesson for the 1000th time, Tessa, then listen closely. The palace does not change because of your feelings. It reflects you. It is a mirror, showing you the damage your untamed emotions can cause. Consider it a gift. You are free to see for yourself the chaos you are capable of. Emotions are a weakness, a flaw to be suppressed, just as Fiona and I do. Until you learn that fundamental truth, this palace is the only safe place for you. But the palace was never a mirror. It was a lie. It was a siphon. Mordov, in his cunning, had built it from magical crystals designed for a single purpose: to quietly draw Tessa's magic away from her and into himself. The entire structure was a carrier, a parasite that fed on her power. And it worked best when she was at her weakest, when she was filled with the self-doubt and fear he had so carefully cultivated. Every night, as Tessa slept, believing she was safe, the palace would drink her essence, carrying it through the crystalline walls directly to Mordov's ring. It was an intricate and cruel magic, but for a wizard of his ambition, it was a masterpiece of deception. Tessa, I have to be better. I have to be calmer. But Mordov, for all his power and planning, had underestimated the resilience of a Sensari soul. He had underestimated the magic that was truly a gift of the Magi. And he never accounted for the voice that was beginning to whisper to Tessa from the deepest parts of her own forgotten heart. Wolf, there you are. You look like you've swallowed a thundercloud, little star. Tessa, who? Who are you? I think I painted a cliff that looked this real this morning. Meet Kale, the self-assured, wise-cracking wolf who is the living embodiment of Tessa's own subconscious. He was the part of her she had tried so hard to lock away. Mordovs, remember Tessa, you must not trust anyone. Friends will only weaken your spirit. Kale, oh joy. This guy doesn't even leave you alone in your own head. That's very healthy. Tessa, I hear his voice all the time. It's a part of me now. Kale, whose voice were you expecting to find in your own subconscious, kitten? Mine. Here's a news flash for you, straight from the source. Feeling is not a crime. In fact, it's the whole point. When you allow yourself to truly feel something, you grow closer to your soul. You strengthen your inner power. That is the path to true self-acceptance. Kale, don't run from the storm, little star. Learn to dance in the rain. Narrator, Kale was the first voice that didn't teach fear. He was the first to make her laugh, a real, uninhibited laugh, when no one was watching. Tessa hid her dreams of Kale the same way she had once hidden her own feelings. Kale became her secret rebellion, her first and only true friend. But the feeling in her gut was colder and more real than any nightmare. The overwhelming urgency to reach her friend, to save him, finally became greater than the fear that had imprisoned her for a lifetime. Fiona's, you are not meant for the world outside. As soon as she reached him, the illusion shattered. Kale leaped to his paws, vibrant and alive, gave her an affectionate nudge, and then turned and bolted deep into the forest. Tessa, what? Kale, no, wait. And without a moment's hesitation, Tessa ran. She ran into the forest, chasing the only friend she had ever known. She had finally left the palace. For the first time, she felt the soft grass beneath her bare feet. She laughed, loud and free, the sound echoing through the trees. She splashed through a clear stream, scattered dry leaves into the air, and chased Kale through the wild. Ahead of her, Kale shimmered and shifted, his form growing until he stood before her as a real-life wolf, terrifying and magnificent. Tessa, this is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen, Kale. It's nothing like the palace. Tessa, wait. What? The palace? I'm so far away. No. Mordolf will be furious. Kale, I have to go back. I should return. Tessa, her eyes widen in horror. Wait, what's happening? No, stop. Stop. But the fire spread, fueled by her terror, consuming all the beauty she had just discovered. Kale sat down calmly, watching his friend at the center of the inferno she was creating. But they were not alone. From behind a burning log, a small child, a little girl who had been gathering berries, whimpered in fear. Child, Papa, Papa. The child was frozen, trapped by a ring of fire. And Tessa knew, in that gut-wrenching moment, that if she didn't act, the flames would reach the girl. She closed her eyes, the voices of her captors screaming in her head. Mordov's voice, Vo. You are feeling too much. You need to be protected from yourself. You are not in control. Tessa, you always called me too much. Too loud. Too sensitive. But you weren't annoyed with me. A revelation dawns on her face. You were afraid. Afraid of what I would become if I ever stopped shrinking myself to fit in your little box. Tessa. And now I have. And then it happened. Not a wild explosion, but a soft, controlled pulse of energy that emanated from her very center. It created a perfect clearing around her. She floated gently into the midair. She could still see the fire, but it no longer scared her. Amidst the flames and the smoke, Tessa felt an overwhelming wave of love for herself, for the forest, for the open sky, and for the scared child. In that moment of complete self-acceptance, Tessa unlocked her true inner power. She was now a true Sensari. Tessa, are you all right? Child, I don't know how to thank you. Who are you? And is this wolf your friend? Tessa, I am someone who finally remembered who she is. And this is Kale. He's the one who never forgot. Mordoff, how dare you? Tessa, Mordoff, aren't you happy to see me? I am finally a Sensari. Mordoff, Sensori? That's just a bedtime story for children. You aren't powerful, you are just overly emotional. If you were anything more, I wouldn't have been able to drain your magic so easily for all these years. Tessa, no, Mordoff. You're right, and I am so glad to see you and Fiona. It means I will finally get a chance to repay you for taking such good care of me. Fiona, you are always the fragile one, Tessa. Don't forget who you are. Tessa, oh, I won't. Let's see. I was fragile, wasn't I? And too emotional, too sensitive, too much, too little, not enough, an overthinker, weak. I am not too much. And I am not too little. I am complete. Mordoff. What? What's happening? Tessa, I must thank you, Mordoff. Every lie you told me, every piece of fear you tried to build my prison with, they became the stones I used to build my throne. You tried to steal my power, but you don't understand the first thing about it. This gift of the Magi was never yours to keep. Mordoff and Fiona could only stare in stunned silence. Tessa's raw, unfiltered, and now fully embraced energy, her complete emotional intelligence, created a silent implosion of power directed right at them. Child, are you really a Sensari? My grandmother used to tell me stories about them. I thought they were all gone. Tessa, as long as we learn to listen to our hearts and accept every part of ourselves, the good and the bad, the light and the dark, the Sensari will always be here to lead the universe. Right, Kale? Child, but will those two ever trouble you again? Tessa, don't worry about them. They're in a place they have always admired. A place of perfect control. Cut to a stark, white, empty space. Mordoff and Fiona stand motionless like statues. Mordoff internal monologue. Fiona, you're thinking too loudly. Your panic is disorderly. Fiona internal monologue. How do I panic in a lower pitch? How do I ask for help without feeling? It was the most fitting end the Sensari could give them. She had made Mordoff and Fiona slaves to their own minds, trapped in a prison where the control they worshipped was now their eternal torment. As for Tessa, well, she was no longer the last of the Sensari. She was the first of the new. They told her she was too much, so she became more. The greatest magic in the universe isn't found in ancient books or powerful wizards. It's the gift of the Magi that lies within your own heart, your emotions, your spirit, your unique and powerful story. If this tale of unlocking your inner power resonated with you, please show your support by hitting that like button. And to join our community and explore more stories of magic and self-acceptance, be sure to subscribe to Gift of the Magi. Thank you for watching.